You're welcome to my channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui. On this channel, I make swim tutorials. I post new videos on Monday, Wednesdays, and on Saturdays. So if you're into stuff like this, make sure to check back on those days in order to watch new content. Alright, if you are a beginner or if you're a person that's trying to brush up on your skills, I offer online courses. I'll be showing a demo on how to make a jumpsuit so you can watch on the side if it will be convenient for you to learn online. If you're interested, send me a message on Telegram. Alright, number is on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, please give it a like. Do not forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Have a lovely day. Bye bye. Alright, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a dress, the one that you've seen at the beginning of the video. So the first step, of course, is to draft the pattern. We'll draft a bodice. If you don't know how to draft a bodice, like I've said 1 billion times, I've made a video on how to draft a bodice. You should really check that out. It's going to be very helpful because I use it in almost everything that has to do with the top part of your body. So here I'm drafting out the bodice. So this is the shoulder, bust, under bust round, and that's the half cut, 2 inches after the under bust round. Alright, now place my measurements across. So here we have the bust, under bust round, shoulder, shoulder slope, armhole. Alright, armhole curve joined like so. The fabric I'm working with is neoprene, so it's quite stretchy. So because of the stretch, I'm going to keep that, but because it is stretchy, I'm not going to keep allowance to pay for what the dart is taken out because the fabric is so stretchy. So this is the fabric here. It's thick like neoprene, but it has a nice floral print on it. You see how stretchy it is here. Look at, on all grains it is stretchy, though more on one side than the other. So because of that, I'm not going to keep too much allowance, so only 1 inch. Alright, so because of my fabric, I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to explain to you. So if you don't have to how to place the darts on the bodice, I also took care of that in the video on how to draft the bodice. Alright, so that's what I'm doing here. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to the front. I'll come down to 7 inches. You see that? You see I'm keeping it after the half inch. I'm going to come to the armhole, come down here by 5 inches. Alright, 5 inches, and then I'm going to make a curve. You see this connecting the armhole to the front. So the next step is to simply cut it out. So the slope there is the slope we have in front. Alright, now we'll use the front pattern to cut the back pattern because they are the same thing. The only difference that we're going to have is our zipper allowance. So I'm going to keep 1 inch in front. That's what I'm marking out now. 1 inch for my allowance on this side, and I'm going to roll a line. So this is where I would fix my zipper. Because of the stretch, is why I'm keeping only one. I'll place my pattern on top, and then I will simply trace around the pattern because there's really no difference between the front and the back pattern. So simply tracing out. Alright, and then with that done, another difference that we have is at the bottom of the front, we're going to come up by 1 inch. Because the fabric is stretchy, you need to be careful so that we don't have puffiness around our zipper allowance. We want it to be smooth. So we'll come up here by 1 inch towards the zipper allowance, and then we'll connect the 1 inch to the side. You see what I'm doing here? Simply connect it like so. After I do this, I'm done. The next thing I'm going to do, I'll just simply cut it out. This is the pattern that will be used to cut the back. Alright, now to the skirt part. This is one of the things I've done a lot. So keep half an inch for our joining, for our allowance to join to the top. So we'll continue. This part here is the skirt part from the waist to the knee. Alright, so we're going to place 16 at the line that we have here, 16, because our body stopped at 16 because we came down by 2 inches. So I'm going to place 16 here, and then the next thing I'm going to do is to mark 8 inches for my hip. Okay, 8 inches after the half cut is where I have my hip, and then I'm going to come to the knee. The knee is 37. Alright, so don't be blind, look at 37 there. I'll have 37, and then I'm going to simply roll my lines across. Alright, nice and easy. And then I kept half inch at the bottom for my allowance for joining the flare at the bottom. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to place the underbolt round, so 28, so that it matches with the top. Alright, that's 28 divided by 4, that's 7, what I'm placing there. So I place the hip here, The hip is 40 divided by 4, 10. I'm going to mark it here. Then I'm going to come down to here. Whatever you place at the hip, you subtract 2 inches. That's if I place 10 at the hip, subtract 2 inches and place 8 down. Okay, 10 minus 2, 8. So I'm placing 8 here. If your hip is 11, 11 minus 2, 9. It's 9 you will place down there. I hope you understand. Alright, now I'll simply keep my allowance of 1 inch everywhere and connect it together. Alright, and then I'm going to slope the front in order to take away the excess that usually builds under the belly. Now I'm going to simply cut this out. This pattern will be used to cut the front and the back. The only difference is I'll keep 1 inch in front for the zipper allowance as for the back. Alright, now see this, I'm trying to mark out my dart points because I want the darts to rhyme between front and back. Alright, so I'm going to notch here, notch the bust as well. Alright, now we have our patterns and everything has been done. The next step is for us to transfer all the patterns that we have to our fabric before we go on to cutting the fillet. So I make a fold. This is the front, the top part front. Alright, you see as it is. I make sure to cut it on a fold. You see where I'm folding and I'm placing the patterns that are meant for the front close to the edge. That's so that I don't end up with 2 pieces instead of 1, because the front doesn't have any cuts in front. I hope that is clear. Alright, so the back, as for the back, you see me cutting here open because I need 2 pieces for the back. The same thing here, I slice it first, adjust and cut. This is the back part of the skirt as well. I'm trying to notch my dart points at the back. Now this is the fillet. So let me tell you how to know what you have to do. So you need to know how much the end of your skirt pattern is. So remember we have 8 there. So make sure you have enough space to draw your curve for 8. And then you should have enough space for your full length. Now, it's an asymmetric skirt. The front is high, the back is low. But first, we'll cut the whole thing to be full. Now, what you will do to know the full length of your fillet will be to subtract the length or the amount that we have already. So we know that the bottom skirt stopped at 37. So you subtract 37 from the total dress length. The total dress length is 57. 57 minus 37 is going to give us 20. So we need the long part of our fillet to be 20 so that it is at floor length. But you can always increase that number if you want it to sweep. Alright, so when you're folding, make sure you have 20 and some excess so that you'll be able to make the curve using that 8 inches that is the length at the bottom of the skirt. I hope that this is clear. Alright, I've made a video on how to cut a fillet. I think that will be good if you have issues with cutting fillet. How to cut a 360, 720, 1440 degree fillet. So here I'm using the 8 inches to make a curve. That 8 inches that's at the bottom of the skirt is what I'm using to make this curve. And now I'm checking if I have up to 20. Alright, so I'm going to simply mark 20, the full length on every part of the fold. Cut everything at 20. First, cut the top part where we used 8 for that. After you have done this, I need you to open it up. So you see this, I'm going to open it up and lay it flat like this. We need to now cut one side short and the other side long. Now we need to taper it from little to big. So you're going to see what I'm going to do now. Because the front is high, I'm going to use, for me, I want to use 7 inches at the low point. That's the point that's supposed to be in front. And I'll keep the 20 inches at the high part. So that's the part that will be at the back. Alright, so now remember, you can always extend that 20 if you want it to sweep. This 20 is just so it is at floor length. So I'm going to place 7 inches in front. Alright, so you see this 7. I'm going to gradually increase. Now, when you get to the midpoint, you need to open it up. You see what I'm doing here, so that it is gradual. The difference is not so sudden. Alright, divide the back. That's the part that will face your zipper allowance. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to simply cut the fillet that will sit at the shoulder. To do that, you're going to use the person's off shoulder measurement. Alright, so see what I'm doing. This is how you take it. You take it across the shoulder. You see that this is me doing a very, very poor imitation of taking a shoulder measurement. It's not poor. It serves the purpose, but I look weird. So now, when you're cutting the top of the fillet, you will divide your off-shoulder measurements by 4 and use that to cut that top curve. And the width of the fillet will be 6 inches. Like I said, 6 inches is always enough. So that top curve was the 40-inch, the off shoulder measurements divided by 4 that I used to cut that. You see that? And the width of it is 6 inches. Alright. Now the first thing I'm going to do now on the machine, I'm going to hold my darts on all sides. So on the front, that's the top parts now, the front and the back. So you can see me holding a short dart in front. This is a dart, or a 5-inch dart I'm holding in the front. At the back, I'm going to make a longer dart of around 8 inches. Alright, so you see that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to also dart the skirt part, both the front and the back. The front I'm going to dart is 5 inches, the back I'm going to dart 6. Alright, now remember, we didn't keep allowance for our darts. That's because the fabric is stretchy. If your fabric is not stretchy, please make sure to keep allowances for everywhere you keep you place the darts. After darting all sides, the next thing we're going to do is we will join the top parts, the front and the back together on the sides, consuming 1 inch. You can see what I'm doing around the armhole. I'm going to consume 1 inch here on the left, 1 inch on the right as well. Alright. Now this will be the best time to use your overlocker to finish the side and the armhole as well. Use it, when I say overlocker, I mean weaving machine, serger, whatever name you know it as. Now the next thing is to attach the flay that is meant for the shoulder. So I'm going to open it up to 2. You see that? Find the center, make a notch. You're going to bring the front, fold the front. So you see that that's the front part of the top. Alright. You see the way I'm taking time with it? Make a little notch, not so much. Alright. Alright, so next thing we're going to do, so you see what I'm doing? I'm going to place, we want it to sit facing outside like this at the end of the day. Alright, we're going to flip it. You see the way I'm flipping it? We're going to keep the front side of the flay facing the wrong side of the body. See what I'm doing? The front side facing the wrong side. Align the notch so that you know that both of them are at the center. Alright, and then I'm going to simply stitch from here to the armhole. You see that? I'm going to stitch from here to the armhole. When I get to the armhole, I will stop. Okay, I will now come to the zipper allowance and stitch to the armhole of the back and stop. You see there's a space in between there. Do the same thing on the other side. From the center to the armhole, I stop. Then I turn to the zipper allowance, stitch and stop. So make sure to do it like that. Next thing we're going to do, join the front and the back together. That's the skirt parts now. Now for the way I'm going to hold my allowance on the skirt, I'm going to hold 1 inch at the waist, 1.5 inch at the hip, and 1 inch at the bottom. Because of the fabric is stretchy, I wanted to release it nicely around the hip. So you see that 1 inch, look how it taper, it gets bigger at the hip area. The same thing on the other side, 1 inch, and then it's going to become bigger when we get to around where we have the hip and taper back to 1 inch by the time we are at the end. That's so that it stretches around the hip. The next thing I'm going to do, use the overlocker to finish this edge that I'm touching now. You see this? So that on both sides, so that everything is neat. If that has been done, the next thing you're going to do is to stitch the top part of the dress to the bottom part, consuming 1/2 inch like I'm doing. Make sure to flatten all the sides where you have a double stitch. Alright, a seam that joins 2 pieces together. That's what I was trying to say when I say I didn't mean to. Double seam is not the correct word I was supposed to use. Use your overlocker to finish this joining that you've just made now. Because there is no lining, you need to make sure that all your edges, you use the serger and smoothen it out. When I say serger, I mean weaving machine. Now what I'm going to do, if you have a serger or an overlocker or a weaving machine, also use that to finish this edge that you have here. Align the flay. Simply hold it down so that it holds it down permanently, and also use that to go all the way down the zipper allowance. I'm doing this so that it holds this in place so that it doesn't interfere when I'm fixing my zipper. Alright, so now when you are trying to fix the zipper, you need to keep a space. So I'm keeping 8 inches away from the joining, and then I'm going to come in by maybe 1.2, just a little bit more. Alright, and I'm going to stitch from here. I'll stitch down maybe 6 inches. You don't want to get all the way down to the end. You want to just make sure you have space for your zip. You don't go down so that you'll be able to attach your flay easily. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to simply attach my zipper at the top. If you do not know how to attach a zipper, I have a video on how to attach a zipper. If you're still having issues with that, look for my video on how to attach a zipper and how to fix a zipper. A video should pop up. So let me fix my zipper, and then we'll move over to the next step. I'm going to blow through this real quick, but it took a long time getting this done. because the fabric was stretchy, I was trying to be extra careful so that the zip doesn't turn out bouncy. But I have a video that will assist you if you have problems fixing zipper on stretchy fabrics. Also check for Ndifon Ntui how to fix a zipper. You should see those 2 videos. The next thing I'm going to do is to join the bottom part of the flay to the bottom part of the dress. So you can see I'm at the end of, you see that's the long side there. So what I'm doing, I'm bringing my zipper allowance, the bottom of my zipper allowance on that side. You can see where I stopped before, and I'm simply joining the flay to the top part. All right, so you see me taking my time with it. All right, my bobbin thread finished, and I'm going to keep going all the way down till I meet the other side. When you're done with that, you can simply complete that zipper allowance. Remember, we stopped at 6 inches before. You can now complete it to the end. Make sure to use your overlocker to finish that joining that we just made. Now, because we are not using any form of lining, you need to use your overlocker will be used extensively if you want to make this for your clients. But this is OSHO free. Nobody's paying me jack for this, so I'm going to wing it. But make sure to use your overlocker if you are making this professionally. So you see me going all the way down the zipper allowance. When you get there, I'm pretty much done. Bye bye.